Show you the writing website that we are going to use to do our practice. And then in February, all 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students are going to do the TCAP writing on the computer. So I'm going to show you how we will log in and what the website looks like. And then Mr. McDaniel is going to do a practice writing with you during technology over the next few weeks. And then your teachers will also probably do some practice with you on the Miss site. The first thing that you need to know is that when you are actually going to get on the website, you're going to get a login little piece of paper. Notice it's going to have your name and it's got this very important password. You have to have this password to log in and be able to type your response to the prompt. So you will receive that when it's time for you to log in. The next thing is that Mist is an icon on your computer, probably down here on your dock. Now, once we log into Mist, everything else is going to close down. All we can do is stay in the Mist site. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Okay, it has loaded. And my only options now are to either close it and go back to my desktop or to choose my login. And of course, you are a student. I am as well. I'm going to log in as a student. Now, that piece of paper that I showed you earlier, that has our login, so I'm going to put my specific information. Your stuff will look different when you get your login. TP7D 6F6S. I'm double checking that to make sure that I got it right, and I'm going to click login. And I'm making sure that this is me. Yes, I'm Jamie Black. I'm going to see down here, confirm. And it says that I'm about to take the TCAP 4th and 5th grade writing practice task. I'm ready to start the test. Now, this first page that you'll see just tells us how to navigate through the test. It says if you cannot see the complete text on your screen, use the scroll bar on the right. You know about the scroll bar here. And you also know that using 2 fingers on the trackpad or on the mouse pad moves it up and down. So you can click the magnifying glass to zoom in or make it bigger. You can click the magnifying glass with the minus. The plus makes it bigger. The minus will make it smaller. This is something that you may want to use since it's all on the computer. To highlight, you have to click the highlighter to highlight things. You can take notes during the test. Notice this is important. You sometimes will have a split screen. They're split into 2 screens with the text appearing on one side. It'll be on the left half, and the prompt appearing or the writing portion being on the right half. There's a scroll bar on the right side of both screens. I'll show you that in just a minute. And then there's a previous button to allow you to return to the previous screen. As we look at the actual test, you'll see there's some text editing tools. It's very much like Word, and if you're not really comfortable with this, I would be very careful about how much I use these, because you will only be typing one response. So you'll just type your response, and then when you get it like you want it, you'll hit submit. So you do have some options to delete. You can select the words and then click that cuts it out. Copy and paste. You select the words with your cursor and then click the 2 pieces that looks like a piece of paper that's being copied. That's why there are 2 just like it. And then to paste, you put your cursor where you want it and click this icon that looks like a clipboard with a piece of paper. To indent a paragraph, use the space bar. You know, the space bar is that long bar on the bottom of your keyboard. If you want to undo something, that back arrow will undo it. And if you use the undo tool and you change your mind and you want to redo it, then use that forward arrow and it'll put what you just took off with the undo tool. And then again, there's that increase the size and decrease the size. Okay, it'll have student directions. It says, you'll be taking the 4th and 5th grade writing task. The task is made up of 2 texts and a prompt about those texts. You are to plan and write an essay about the text according to the instructions provided. Your essay will be scored as a rough draft, but you should watch for careless errors. Here are some important things to remember. The time you have to read both texts and answer the prompt will be 90 minutes. Read the prompt carefully and think about the best way. You're going to have to POW that prompt. Pull it apart, organize it. You're going to have to think about what you need to write. You will then type your essay using the computer at which you are sitting, and you'll write only about the text and the prompt you are given. You may use blank paper. You'll be given blank paper for pre-writing, such as notes or to make a graphic organizer, but only the part that you type will be scored. And then it gives us the topic. This particular one would be, this is not the one you'll be writing on, but this one says, some people think of outer space as an empty space that surrounds the Earth, but it's really filled with debris, which is pieces of old satellites and other trash and junk that circle our planet. The debris can crash into satellites or fall to Earth. This task will address space debris and the problems it can cause. So it gives you a picture. It tells you your texts are going to be space junk and space waste. So that's all that's on that page. And I'll click next. Okay, then we have our 2 texts. See, it says text 1, the story of space junk. I'm going to read all the important information. The author discusses sources. That right there tells me something that is very important about this. Sources of space debris. Now, notice I've got my mouse over here and I'm using the 2 finger up and down. But here, also, if I want to move it with my mouse over here, either way. So I'm going to completely read text 1. And then I'm going to go into text 2, space waste. The author discusses the dangers caused by space debris. Ooh, so that first one told me that it was sources of space debris, and this one discusses dangers of space debris. So I'm going to read space waste. And after I've read the entire thing, obviously I didn't read it right then, but after I've read the entire thing, I'm going to look over here and it says, now you've read 2 texts about space debris, space junk and space waste. Write an essay that explains how space debris occurs and the problems it can cause. Be sure to use examples from both texts to support your explanation. Follow the conventions of standard English. Write your essay in the space provided. So I'll click there and notice I've got my cursor now, and I would just start typing. I would just start typing and then I would just go and I would type my entire story, which would be much longer than that. I'm going to look over it. I'm going to make any spelling mistakes. And when I'm done, I'm going to hit finish. And it says, I answered the prompt. It's telling me that I've got to check because I answered it. Now notice it's not saying I did a great job. It's not saying I answered it well because you know I did not answer that well. I typed some fake words. But it knows that I have some things there. When you are finished with your very best work, you'll come over here and say finish. And then it asks again, do you wish to continue taking it? If so, return to the test. If you're finished, click submit. I'm ready to submit. Your test has been submitted. Click log out to end your session. Once I submit, I can't go back to it. So now I log out and now I'm back to my kiosk page where I have to decide, do I log in? Well, it wouldn't do me any good to log back in with that number because I've submitted it. So that login number is no longer good. Once you submit, you're finished with that text. So I'll just come up here to close the kiosk, and that's it. When you get a chance to practice on the website, please do your very, very best. Think about that prompt. You need to pow the prompt and do your best writing, both in this practice and then when we do the actual writing in February. Good luck.